Hello everyone, welcome back to Hills and Hollers Homesteading and Prepping. It is Mike, and I apologize for not getting another video out sooner. I've been pretty daggone busy. So, I got more snow today. It's nice. It's actually probably mid to high 20s. Not terrible. Tolerable. We did some running today and got caught up on our shopping yesterday. The wife and I did. We went out and did our 1 month shopping run, and then today we went and tried out Bass Pro down in Morgantown. Went and checked it out. Ran into an old friend of mine, and William, if you're watching this, buddy, it was good to see you. It surely was. I realized afterwards. I told my wife. She said, "When's the last time you seen him?" And I'm like, high school. 32 years ago, brother. That's a long time. So, seen him, just started chatting right back up like we did last time we seen each other. So good to see old friends, definitely. And yes, you're right, we're definitely going to have to get together and see what kind of trouble we can get into. A few things going on here. So, more experiences with the healthcare system. I know that sounds funny coming from somebody who works in the healthcare system and has for the last 30 years. After admission follow-ups and stuff like that for my family member who was admitted, incidentally, my family member was found to have COVID-19 when they were admitted to the hospital. Now, that is not the reason we took them to the hospital. That is not the reason they were at the hospital, nor were they having any symptoms while they were at the hospital. But because that person was going to be admitted, they have to test them for COVID-19, and lo and behold, he tested positive, and it went to hell after that. Actually, no, it didn't go to hell after that, but that became the primary focus. No fevers, no chills, no respiratory distress, no difficulty breathing, no coughing, no nothing. Hey, get off there. Dogs are on my compost pile. Jethro, get off here, knucklehead. So it's funny how that the focus came to be just about that. Everything else was worked up and that he was there for and everything, but they seem to be focused on, COVID. Even on follow-up appointments, it was like, well, we seen you were admitted for COVID. No, that was an incidental finding. And I think what we're seeing, and I told you that night, I did see several sick people in that ER. But I think what we're seeing now with the numbers on admission is that everybody who gets admitted to the hospital gets tested for COVID, regardless of what your symptoms are, what you're there for. So if you go in with your belly pain or your appendix rupturing, before they admit you, they're going to test you for COVID. And if you get tested positive for COVID, well, then of course you're going to have COVID as your diagnosis, on top of other things. But anyways, like I said, I know that the virus is real. I had it, and we had it, my whole family pretty much. And I think I just recently had it again, believe it or not, because the symptoms that my family member developed after the hospitalization, I had the same. So, it's pretty obvious I probably did have the Omicron variant. But new research coming out and by the CDC is showing that those who had prior infection of COVID-19 had better immunity to the Delta variant than those who received vaccines. And now with the Omicron variant, they're finding that those who are infected with the Omicron variant will, in their words, give you super immunity to COVID. So, more and more and more, it's being proven that natural immunity is the top dog. When we looked at most of the people being admitted, or the people that are admitted in the hospital, the numbers, and they're going off of COVID, they're saying that these are COVID admissions, and these likely are people with other problems that they're being admitted for. They're just finding COVID incidentally on their admission. And I wouldn't be afraid to say that. And I don't know. I don't have the true numbers. I'm not the one that's just tracking that kind of stuff to know for sure that's what's going on. But if you're testing everyone who's showing up to the hospital sick for whatever reason, and they're testing positive for COVID incidentally before they're being admitted, then of course those are going to count towards the COVID numbers. And, there was studies that come out and it showed that the big wave that we got right before the Delta variant was, or came about to be, here in the U.S. is that the ERs were overwhelmed with chronically ill folks who weren't taking care of themselves during the first phase of the pandemic. So all these people who had congestive heart failure and diabetes and all these other chronic medical problems, they just weren't taking care of themselves and they were afraid to go to the hospital, afraid to go to the doctors and stuff like that, just simply because of the pandemic itself. And then when everything kind of started going down and, infection rates started to drop, I guess they were figuring they better go to the hospital and get checked out then. And that's what they were finding, is that the ERs were actually overwhelmed with all these people who were chronically ill, not because of COVID or anything. So I'm not spreading any misinformation. I mean, absolutely every one of these headlines are right out there. They're on social media, they're on Facebook, they're on the news sites. So I'm not making anything out of anything. I'm just telling you this, just what's being reported. Hey, Jethro, get up here, crackhead. They're worse than kids, I'm telling you. But anyways, so, that's with a couple of the follow-up visits I went with my family member too. I actually had to correct them with most of the visits, because it's like, I see you were admitted with COVID. No, I was admitted for this. COVID was an incidental finding. And, so like I said, I'm not downplaying anything. I'm just saying that things are kind of screwed up the way that they are right now. And the numbers, I don't know. It's hard to make heads or tails out of a lot of this stuff and what the rationale is for the numbers and stuff that they're using. The other part of that is Mila, Jethro, I got to keep yelling at my dogs. So the other part of that spectrum is getting appointments. And we're finding that specialty services, like locally here, endocrinology at Morgantown, WVU Medicine, endocrinology is already booked out till next December. So, if you're trying to get an appointment in to see endocrinology, you're probably going to be waiting until next December. So you're looking at 11 months. So, there is a huge backlog and everything like that. And I don't know. There's a fine line between being cautious and just being knee-jerk reacting. And I think that's what's going on. One of the favorite phrases that one of my coworkers uses is ready, fire, aim. And that is that there's no proactive approach to anything. They're just responding and reacting as things happen. And that seems to be one of the biggest causes of most of the problems that we're dealing with today. So, a good sit down and, put your personal opinions aside, put your political opinions in parties aside, and let's look at the facts. Let's look at the real stuff, and we're going to go from there. And if you don't agree with it, you better have a good scientific rationale or good scientific reasoning and facts to back it up, because you all got things screwed up. All right, so the other part of that is fertilizer costs. The scant availability of fertilizers and the cost of fertilizer now is making food prices go through the roof here. And we're going to see it worse as the season improves. We get into more growing seasons and stuff like that. You're going to see huge price increases on almost every food product in the market. So if I've not told you in previous videos, I'm going to tell you now. Plan and plant gardens this year, folks. Grow as much of your own food as you possibly can. And I'm going to turn and walk into this snow flying, so I'll probably get it into my eyes. You have to start doing something for yourself. In the effect of growing some of your own food, just offsetting costs a little, at a time here. And go ahead and order your seeds now. If you're planning on planting your gardens and stuff like that, order your seeds now. Get on Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, Urban Farmer. Just there's all kinds of heirloom seed companies out there, and get on there and order these things. And get these seeds ready. Go ahead and start planting your garden, your raised beds, your container beds, and stuff like that. However you're going to do it this year, get it planned out now. Get everything ready to go. I would, in March, if you've got room in your home where you can get a nice sunny spot in front of a window or a glass sliding door or patio door or something, set up a little folding table and get your little seed pods, your little sprouting pods and stuff like that. Put them on that table. Put your seeds in there. Keep them watered every day. And go ahead and get them things growing early. And that way when you can actually plant outside safely here in West Virginia, if you're not from the area or the region for that, we don't plant usually until after Labor or Memorial Day. And that's because of the risk of frost and stuff up until at least Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend. So get that stuff planned out. Go ahead and get your stuff ready. I mean, we went to Rural King today, and they had the little trays of the seed pods where you can start your seeds and stuff in. They're for like $7. They're huge. And they're great. So we went ahead and got some of those. Walmart already has them out. They're already putting their spring stuff out. Get your stuff now. Get it planned out. Walk out in your yard, plan out where your raised beds or your containers are going to go, or your garden and stuff like that. You know, even if you don't have an area to till, think about doing a no-till garden where you bring in your soils and stuff like that and put them up in rows, little raised rows, and plant in those little raised rows, and your garden will grow fine. So, you know, do your research, do your homework, get on YouTube, start looking at stuff up. And there's all kinds of stuff on there. I mean, you can learn pretty much how to do just about everything on YouTube. And this is, you know, trial and error. This is people who've done it and they failed, and they've looked and, you know, figured out how to do it the right way. And, you know, you may get better ideas or different ideas that's going to work better for you. But anyways, you got to start doing that, because when, you know, a head of lettuce, if it starts going for $4 a head or $5 a head, and you walk in and the produce section is going to be pretty much bleak and bare because the farmers can't get fertilizer, or the cost is just going to be so daggone high, they're just not even going to worry about it because they're not going to make any profits whatsoever. Not that I know any farmers that make profits anyways, but and they'll tell you that. But, you know, do more, get ready, and you know, we're here at the end of January already, and I mean, the snow's flying. We're already planting our garden. We already got our seed pods out ready to go. You know, we're going to start planting probably second week of March. That way we've got good tall sprouts and everything to put in the garden, kind of get ahead of the curve and stuff when the weather gets better. But we also started, we went to Rural King today and got some more chicken feed and stuff like that for our laying hens. They had these big 27-gallon heavy-duty totes on sale for $8.99. So we grabbed 3 of those. And they had the plastic ammo cans that are, I guess they're hermetically sealed. They got a rubber seal around them, so they're airtight, watertight. They had those on sale for $7.99. So we bought like 3 or 4 of those. And what we're going to use those little ammo cans for is little medical kits to store over-the-counter medications and stuff in. And, you know, cough syrup and decongestants and ibuprofen and acetaminophen and naproxen and things like that, fever reducers, cough suppressants, expectorants, all that good stuff. And that'll keep it airtight, keep it in its original package, put them in there, and it'll keep it airtight. Sunlight's not going to get in and degrade it at all. And that's with the totes that we got today. They're black and they're heavy duty, so there's not going to be any light to get into those to cause any degradation of whatever we store in those. And those are the things we're looking at to expand a little bit more into our prepping as the weather allows it, or as the seasons change and everything. So, yeah, just good pre-planning, folks. That's all I can tell you at this point. Just be prepared, you know what's coming. Expect pretty much anything at this point. I'm still saying the economy's crap, and it's only going to get worse. Inflation's only going to get worse. You know, look at your, what was it, Bitcoin and your cryptocurrency. I think it just took a big dive from some of the stuff that I was reading over the weekend. There was big losses on it, and it's so volatile. It's scary. So stocks, I'm getting pretty much out of stocks as much as I can in my personal activities, and buying more in precious metals and stuff. So we're just preparing for what we think might come. And if it doesn't come, thank the Lord it doesn't come. But anyways, you know, if it does, we're going to be as ready as we possibly can. Now, another short thing here I want to address was one of the prepper sites that I was reading today. I was reading some posts and stuff on there. People were asking what would be good items to barter. So if you get in a situation where, you know, the store shelves are empty, there's nothing at the stores, just a complete economical collapse, okay? We'll look at it like that. It's that kind of situation. If you get a complete economical collapse, stores are closed, you know, things are bare, or just even like, you know, massive social upheaval and uprising and stuff, what do you want for barter items? And as I've said in previous videos, no matter what we prepare for or whatever situation happens, people are always going to be our biggest threat. And while I agree you should have extras of other items, buy lots of freaking lighters, buy a bunch of matches, you know, just simple little things like that you know, would make a huge difference in a situation like that. Coffee, buy cheap coffee. Sugar and stuff like that, seal it up in individual bags and stuff like that, and, you know, serving sizes like 1-2 cup bags or things. Excuse me. And have those items on hand to trade. But when it comes down to it, if it gets to be that bad, and like I said, I hope, pray that it never does, but if it ever would, if it ever get that bad, I don't want somebody to know that we've got stuff to trade. I don't want people to know that we've got an abundance of, or a stockpile of, or even enough items to barter for other things. I hope to be, and not that we would ever have everything that we would ever need, but we would have everything that we would need to survive. Anything after that would be indulgence, I think, at that point. But, just pure gravy. But, as long as we got food, shelter, warmth, and clean water, that's all that matters. Somebody else said, like life straws, like the water filtration straws, those would be good little items to barter and trade with. And I mean, I would agree with that. But like I said, and that would be good within your community of neighbors and people that you trust. But as far as like roving bands of marauders or anything like that, you definitely don't want them people to know what you got. So we'll get into Mad Max theories here. But anyways, it's those kind of things. Like I said, just be prepared, prepare for yourself, prepare for your family, be ready for 3 months minimum. A lot of people say 3 weeks. I'm just saying 3 months. And once you get there, build on out to a year. And that way, if something does happen, and you can rotate your stock, you can use your stock from front to back and just keep stocking. And these are items that you eat. There's nothing special that you need to stock. I wouldn't go for any kind of exotic foods and stuff like that. Any non-perishable foods that you typically normally eat is what I would stock. Canned meats, definitely. Different fats. You can get lard, you can get beef tallow and things like that that's already rendered down and shelf stable. Just, make sure you watch that it doesn't, get too far out of date before you use it, because you don't want it to get rancid. But usually if it's sealed up, even just take it out of its original container and seal it in jars, like mason jars and stuff like that. It's going to be good for probably forever, as long as it stays sealed. So just those kind of things. And that's way, you always have like for cooking or baking or anything like that, you have that there. And believe me, that's always better. Like lard and beef tallow and stuff is always going to be better than Crisco. And lard can definitely be used in place of Crisco, and will make a loaf of bread and biscuits like you've never had in your life. So, instead of using like the oils and stuff like that, or whatever your recipe calls for, substitute your oil with lard, and you'll see a massive difference in taste. And it's good nutrition for you in a situation like that. But, those are things, like I said, just get on YouTube and look up things. There's ideas on there. Just type in, prepping ideas, or prepper pantry ideas, or, what food should I prep for, or what food should I stock. And of course, like I said before, I'd keep the carbs to a minimum, especially your refined carbs. I wouldn't go all beans and rice and just trying to think I can survive on that. But you want lots of protein, lots of fat, and you want low carb. So anyways, what else? Oh, carnivore diet. So far so good. I've altered the diet just a little bit, where I've increased and I'm taking in now more protein than fat. I went from 233 down to 225. I stepped on a scale this morning and was like just ecstatic, because I haven't been that weight for, my God, I don't know how long. So, we built the house up here in 2013. I was heavier than that. We built the house. So, I'm down to 225. I'm going to 215. Once I get to 215, I'll set my next goal and try to keep going down to where I feel my best. Okay. And, hopefully setting into some exercise and everything here. Like I said, family member being sick and things going on like that, it's an eye-opener. It's a wake-up call. And as if I wouldn't have enough of that in my job, you would think. But you have a connection to patients that you take care of, and then you also have that disconnect because you don't know these people, and you don't know what their life is. You don't know, but when it's a family member, you've known all your life, let me tell you, it's an eye-opener, and it will make you really evaluate where you're at health-wise and everything, and make the definite the changes that you need to make to avoid that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's going to be it today. I'm out here. I got to check on the chickens, make sure they got plenty of feed, and just enjoy the snow. So folks, please give us a like on the YouTube channel here. Leave us a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what's going on in your end of the holla. Like I said, reach out there, start getting your gardens and everything planned. And when you think you're big enough, expand, make your garden bigger, because you're going to realize that, you probably want more once you start doing that. And if you've never gardened before, or you're just rusty on it, all you got to do, like I said, just jump on YouTube. It's going to be on there. Pretty much everything that you want to know. But take care. Keep prepping. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, subscribe to the channel if you're like-minded. Take care, and God bless.